Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
So we have in the years we've been doing this show now, we've talked about all kinds of different Christmas ghouls and goblins, right? We've talked about weird gnomes who break into your house and lick your bowls. The Mary Lude, a spooky ghost horse who comes to your door and makes you answer a riddle so you don't get stomped to death.
Yes.
But overall, and we're getting into the Christmas season here, deep beneath the stacks of the New York Public Library, where we're hanging up the lights. We set up our spooky Christmas tree. Who would you say, if you were to venture a guess, is the most well-known, widely known fictional Christmas character?
It's got to be the Snow Yeti, right?
A good one.
The Ebe Runner Snow Yeti that gives the gifts, punishes you when you're bad.
Thank God you said that, because I was worried you were going to say Santa Claus. I was trying to get you into a trap that you narrowly avoided.
Classic, dude. We've been doing this way too long. That's the classic setup.
I was gonna try to get you into a trap and then call you an idiot child, because of course, as you may guess, there is a group of people out there who insist that Santa Claus is not fictional and that they have seen him. It's Brian and Eric Don't Belong Here. Stay with us. How's it going, everybody? That's right. It's another evening into the weird here at Brian and Eric Don't Belong Here. I am Brian, here as always with my joyful, I'm trying to think of Christmas adjectives, but I can't. They're none of my Chris Kringling colleague, Eric. Eric, what's going on, man?
That's pretty good. It's better than me choking and saying Snow Yeti. During the entire setup, I was like, think of a funny Christmas weird monster. Think of a funny Christmas weird monster. The neurons didn't deliver tonight.
So far, that seems to be the case for me as well. I'm like, we've been doing this every week for a while, and I'm like, how do show? How we make a show? How show? Next thing you know, we'll just be talking about the topic. Can't have that.
Yeah, certainly not.
I like the Snow Yeti though. I think the Snow Yeti ship. I mean, hey, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer has an abominable snowman.
And I was gonna go with Rudolph as the funny, toss up, and then I thought too obvious, too cliche, and then it was too late. I ran out of time, and I went with Snow Yeti.
I like it.
Does Rudolph have a Yeti? Is that
it? Does. Yeah. There's the Bumble.
Oh, yeah. I gotta watch that movie again, dog.
It's great to watch stoned. I'll say that.
Yeah. We're talking about the claymation kind of one, right?
Yeah, I don't think they've. It's weird. I don't think they've. That seems ripe for a modern, cynical Hollywood rebooting, right?
Oh yeah.
Does somebody own Rudolph? Why hasn't that happened yet? A full feature. There's just that one TV special.
I hope there is just a 90-year-old, incredibly crotchety and inappropriate man who lives in a shack in the woods in a pine forest who has the exclusive rights to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I also hope that.
And he just refuses to say. He's been offered the world.
How do we get him to will it to us? And we'll keep it. We'll maintain it.
We're not going to develop that into literally anything, even if we wanted to.
Right. No, we'll refuse any offer. We'll just maintain it.
Yeah. I think that's a great... I don't know, Brian. Put him on the list. Put him on the guest list.
I hope he's not dead. That would really put all of our tracks.
That would really suck. That would really
well,
suck.
we have a ghost box. That's who we pick up.
That's how we get him. That's how we get him through the ghost box. What's going to be even more heartbreaking is when we realize that, no, just like Pixar does own it. Pixar's got it.
It's ready to go at any point.
You're a smart guy about this sort of thing. Is something like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer? What is that like? Just like a public domain thing?
I don't. So it started as it was a poem written by like a department store copywriter, and I believe there was like an associated like storybook,
Interesting.
and that led to like the novelty song. And then the novelty song led to eventually the television special that we all know and love. But I don't know much beyond that. I don't know. God, I'm just going to look it up. I'm going to look that shit up right now.
Yeah, let's do a little live Googling. That's hilarious so that you say that, because I've never even thought about it long enough, aside from just being an artifact of my childhood. Like, yeah, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Never even thought about where that comes from. That is very funny that's an ad.
Yeah, it was like a storybook. Yep, the song. I'm looking for who could own it though. There's a tie-in DC comic book from 1950.
That's fun.
Okay, there have been feature-length films, but nothing of like a major variety. A lot of like shitty like direct-to-DVD feature-length things. Yeah, you know what? Scrolling through Wikipedia, here's the thing about Rudolph. It's not that interesting.
It's just a coloring book. That's pretty fucking crazy, though. Imagine living in America where you could create a new Christmas sensation.
Could you imagine?
Just kind of for your job.
Yeah. And that's a great point. I don't think anything has really truly been added to the Christmas canon since All I Want for Christmas Is You. Maybe Elf on the Shelf?
Yeah, I suppose.
I guess it's Elf on the Shelf. That has been largely...
and even All I Want for Christmas Is You, it's like, it's just building on an existing theme.
Right.
It's not really adding a new character into the mix.
Right. Right. Do you see Mariah Carey tried to trademark the Christmas Queen, and they didn't give it to her?
Get out of here. What a bold move.
Because that would then make Mariah Carey as the monarch of Christmas, I think. A new
Christmas Queen, TM.
Give it 100 years, and kids don't know anything about Mariah Carey, just that she's the Christmas Queen.
Yeah, America has fallen. There's only we only serve in the memory of the Christmas Queen.
Right.
Trying to resurrect her icy empire.
Because the song Fantasy fucking bops. That's what's important. How is your December going? We're recording this on December 13th, and Christmas is coming fucking fast.
Dude, I gotta buy some presents is what I have to do real bad. Amazon makes me way too cocky.
Yeah, right.
Makes me real cocky with the present game.
It has been I've also kind of gotten lazy with it. I'm like, yeah, it'll show up. Yeah. And if not, you print out a picture of it and just like, this is what I got you here.
Exactly. It's on the way. Yeah.
How are you doing on the old Christmas spirit? I gotta say, I'm a little humbuggy this year.
Are you humbugged? You're humbugged out?
Not like mad at Chris, just like something's not clicking. And something hasn't clicked in a long time, to the point I don't remember what it clicking fully was. Does that make sense?
You mean, when you say a long time, do you mean like years?
I mean years. I can't remember the last Christmas where like I really felt the Christmas magic.
Really?
I don't think so. Not in a... I guess I don't even know what the Christmas magic is.
This is, if I was even remotely musical and this was a cartoon movie, this is where I would break out into song about the need to revive your Christmas spirit. My boy, my friend, my lad.
I want it.
I'd have like a jingle bell right now, but I don't have any of those things. I wanted to. I remember being a little kid and literally not being able to sleep on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
physically
absolutely.
Unable to sleep.
I I'd get up at 4 and like I'd just be on the couch watching cartoons by the Christmas tree, just waiting, waiting.
Did your dad do the fun dad thing where he like did everything just as slowly as made breakfast, as slowly as just to draw out the torture?
That is no, we didn't do that. We were pretty like up and at 'em. The Kurt Miller move was like wrapping paper wouldn't even hit the floor. My father would be ready with wrapping paper, and the second everything was open, it was like, well, that was Christmas. We're done with that shit now.
That's the move. This is the way. It's just you make a mess.
You make a mess. We don't make a mess in Kurt Miller's house.
Yeah.
I am thinking I'm having a kid soon, so that might revive some like.
I think it probably will. Having another being in the house that's fully like enchanted with the season, that's
and
fun.
Still has potential to like believe in magic in a way that my cynical heart truly cannot anymore.
Yeah, for sure. Are you gonna just make your child believe that Santa Claus is real forever?
Certainly not forever. I can't imagine being precious about it. I'll do the Santa thing. I don't have like this, I'm gonna lie to my child all the fucking time. Are you kidding me?
I think if I have children, which I hope I do someday, I am gonna be, my thing as a dad will be that Santa's real. I'm never gonna give up the my child will be ostracized at school. I'll just be like, well, your friends are lying to you. They're idiots. I'm your father. Santa Claus is real. I'm a 57-year-old man.
I think it's great.
Believe in Santa Claus.
I think I was saying, because we're going to get into the main topic here at some point, maybe. The official stance of this podcast, our thing, our angle, is Santa Claus is real.
Yeah, this is our new thing. We were exploring magic and ghosts. No, our thing now, our new, better thing. Santa Claus, real. Definitively.
We're just going to be two stinky men sitting out on Christmas Eve, not with our families.
We're looking for Santa. There's an important thing happening. We got to find Santa.
Emily, this is the one day. This is my one day.
Yeah, we're like the UFO guys of Christmas, of the holidays.
There we go. Much like the jolly red man himself. I have one important day. And I'm going to sit up on the roof and wait for Santa.
Here's a question. Every holiday has some kind of symbolic entity mascot, right? Christmas has Santa Claus, Valentine's Day has Cupid, Easter has the Easter Bunny, etc. Why doesn't Thanksgiving have some kind of turkey entity?
That is it. Yeah, I assume something like the Easter Bunny is like a faux Santa Claus, right? That came in like, we got to get in on this fucking mascot game, right? Or any sort of, I think it comes with the gift giving stuff, right? Mm-hmm. On some capacity.
I guess so.
Your parents aren't going to buy you gifts. So this Easter Bunny comes in and leaves a bunch of fucking candy in your house and stuff. Yeah. That's it. Thanksgiving needs one. Thanksgiving needs a turkey guy.
Who's bringing the gravy? It's not my mom. I need a spiritual, mythological being to provide me with treats.
It's Timothy the turkey. Timothy the turkey brings the gravy.
Timothy the just chain smoking.
Yeah.
He's gobbling. And then at the end, he just kills himself and flops on the table, and that's who you devour.
And that's what you wait for. That magical
renew the fall season.
It has to start somewhere. You someday, with a child, have to insist that Timothy the turkey is real and that he killed himself so that we may have this feast.
Yeah, every year.
He came in
every year.
He waddled into the kitchen on like those, just a raw turkey. Because I think it's already the skinned, ready to go turkey.
Yeah, it's not an actual living animal turkey. Yeah, it's like a reanimated turkey corpse that's prancing around your kitchen.
And he shoved a bunch of bread up his asshole.
Yes.
Until he died. Yes. And then got into the oven.
Yeah, he collapses into the oven. That's Timmy the turkey. It's fine, though. He'll be back next year. He's resurrected.
Hey, he'll be back again next year.
You know what is fun? I don't know if you've thought about this at length. As a soon-to-be father, you can just make all this shit up. You could say whatever. You could make up an entire cosmology for your child.
I know. I need one that's mine, right?
Invent a thing.
That's all right. Well, Speaking of that, I think when do you remember not believing in Santa Claus? Do you remember that reveal coming?
I don't remember the exact like year or day or like who told me. I was in elementary school at some point, and I just kind of remember it sort of seeped into common knowledge. It was just like common knowledge
Sure.
that kind of permeated. It's like, yeah, Santa, we don't believe in Santa. It's like when everybody kind of just like stops playing with action figures. Like maybe there's a couple kids who were lagging, but it just sort of goes away.
Right. That makes sense. I specifically remember being in the car around Christmas time. We're heading to the Meriden Mall, probably for some Christmas shopping, and I'm in the front seat of the car, and I think similarly, it's like around second grade, and conversations around Santa are being had. Even like the teachers kind of tiptoeing for the kids who still do, and a couple kids do, and a couple kids don't.
Yeah.
And I think my mom handled it about as well as she could have. Which, I just asked point blank, yo, Santa thing, is this real? To which my mom's answer, which I think is a good one to keep in mind, is, what do you think? And
That's
let me answer. And if I had said, yeah, all right, maybe she lets, unless I'm in second grade, maybe third or fourth grade, it'd be time to, hey, maybe let me keep believing for a little long. If I'm like, and which I said, I'm like, I don't think so. She was like, no, there isn't. It's me. It's been me the whole time.
Wow.
Which it's funny, my grandparents were mad about. And my mom's
They
thing,
were mad that your mom revealed this to you?
Yes. Which, see, that's where it gets kind of gross. I think I have no problem with telling a kid that they're Santa. I think the second they're like, hey, this shit doesn't add up. And you're like, no, it does. That's where, like, hey, maybe it's time to, like, the magic can't stay forever.
I hope there's one more parental reveal like that. That we don't even see coming. Like there's some other Santa, like our parents are 80 and they're like, remember that thing you always believe, like, you were adopted, or like, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we can't even fathom it.
Some mind-blowing life truth.
Similar to like in kindergarten, how we can't fathom that Santa's not real.
Exactly. Precisely.
Can't even see it coming. So do you know anything about the origins of Santa Claus?
I feel like we've talked about it before. I know we got Saint Nick, we got Krampus, we got kind of. I think we've covered Krampus, right?
We've covered Krampus. Last year we did all sorts of Christmas monsters. And you mentioned Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas was a real dude.
Yeah.
Get this, the patron saint of sailors, merchants, archers, repentant thieves, children, brewers, pawnbrokers, unmarried people, and students in various cities and countries of around Europe.
That's a cool guy. That's a cool saint.
That's a cool guy. So I think Saint Nick kind of turned into the Dutch character of Sinterklaas.
Okay.
Which you can kind of see how the etymology there maybe built and turned into Santa Claus.
Yeah.
What I think is most interesting to me is Santa Claus's parallels with motherfucking Odin.
Yeah.
Odin, the Norse fucking god, the All-Father. Guess they both flew around in December. Mm-hmm. Odin specifically to head off the wild hunt, where he would hunt down people who have been bad and fucking abduct those who deserve it.
Hell yeah. Imagine getting kidnapped by Odin.
That'd be fucking. It's not as good as getting kidnapped by, Santa Claus. Getting kidnapped by Santa Claus, lame. Getting kidnapped by Odin,
very cool.
I think Odin was a little bit Santa Claus and Krampus all in one.
Yeah, Odin was an interesting god because he was. I guess he was good, but that didn't even really apply. But he was like wise, but like trickstery, and he'd fuck with you, and capricious, and
Right. So Odin had an 8-legged horse named Sleipnir, and it pulled his fucking sleigh. Guess which, man, That should bring back Schleppnir into the Christmas canon. Fuck Rudolph. Fuck all the names of all the reindeer. Just one terrible 8-legged reindeer with a giant reindeer cock. I added the reindeer cock, but
yeah,
I think it's
I don't
important.
think that's in the original stories, but you can imagine it. It makes sense.
In Norse myth, come on. People know about that reindeer.
Really a 9-legged reindeer for being...
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So elves and dwarves are also a Norse mythological thing. Mm-hmm. So it's like, that's an interesting parallel. And Odin was often depicted wearing robes and was referred to as the Yule Father. Of course, the Yuletide holiday being of hospitality, feasting, and gift-giving.
That's super interesting. Yeah, Odin rules, man. We should do an episode on Odin. He's kind of like, as to my understanding, he's kind of like the original, almost like Gandalf archetype.
I think it's extremely Gandalf-y.
Hooded, bearded, wizard kind of guy who's just wandering around, having adventures and kind of getting into it in the world.
Man, it's a bummer religion went to like what we had, and we don't have like adventurer gods.
Yeah, I know. There's still time.
There's still time.
There's still some time.
The Incredible Adventures of Christ.
Yeah, exactly.
So what I mentioned this obviously up top, but there are people out there who still think or believe that they have seen Santa Claus for real.
My favorite.
Now this is an interesting, I think, hole to go down. You can find various I had to do some digging, but you can find a couple of collections of stories out there of people who swore they have seen Santa Claus and believe that he is real in some capacity. We've, over the years, met a lot of people who kind of believe all of it, right? Ghosts, werewolves, demons, they're into all of it. I think maybe Santa Claus would still be a stretch, right?
I was just going to say, man, that is the funniest idea of like, yeah, the people we've met who are just so into their own ghost stories or so into or like whatever it is, like Santa is like a line that they probably would not cross.
Probably not.
Santa's probably ridiculous.
But not for everyone, and that's what's important.
Oh,
so I think I'm going to read some stories here that I've found.
Okay.
A lot of these sightings are like, I saw this as a child, or I saw this maybe during some Christmas time festivities. There are obvious debunkings here, right? Very clear. They will be very obvious why this could potentially not be true. I think we should challenge ourselves, though, to approach this at face value as much as we can and try to figure out what this could possibly be. If it's not all bullshit, which of course it probably is.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Of course. So I'm reading here from liveabout.com, his collection of Santa Claus sightings. This is by Stephen Wagner. Okay. Stephen Wagner is frequently, when you find other articles of Santa sightings, Stephen Wagner's list is kind of the one that everyone refers back to. Okay. He's like the prime source on Santa sightings. So reading
I
directly,
love that there's a guy. I love that there is a Stephen Wagner in this world.
I don't know if Stephen Wagner even thinks of himself as the guy, but that door is open, and I don't think there's closing it now. How do we become that guy?
I think it's probably we can push Steve off the throne, man.
Much like the Santa Claus starring Tim Allen, if we push Steve Wagner, sorry, we become the new keeper of the Santa Claus sightings.
Do you think we get Tim Allen on the show?
Do I think we could get Tim Allen on our show?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. I love that.
I think he'd do it. He's got nothing going on.
I think so too.
Okay. So just directly from the article here, does Santa Claus really exist? Some would say that the question is silly because, of course, Santa Claus is a myth. Others would say that the question is ridiculous because, of course, he is real. How can we doubt it? Over the years, children all over the world have reported sightings of the real Santa Claus, not just department store Santas or bell-ringing Salvation Army charity collectors, but the real thing. Some even claim that they saw St. Nick's sleigh and reindeer. Are these simply illusions through the eyes of a child's Christmas excitement and expectation? Here are some of the stories of adults and children tell of the mysterious Christmas Eve sightings gone by. Okay, so this first story takes place in Bristol, England in the year 2000. I am 14 now, but this happened back in 2000 in my old house in Bristol, England. I was with my mom and my dad and my sister. It was about midnight on Christmas Eve, and I was the only one awake because I was really excited. I could hear these big footsteps in my living room. I was quite scared, and I could also hear bells tingling above me. So I wanted to see what was going on. I walked down the stairs very slowly, and I could see this big man putting presents around my living room. I wanted to say something, but I was too scared to do it because I thought he would be angry. I ran back upstairs and went to sleep. I was so convinced I saw the real Santa and told everyone in the morning, but no one believed me.
Let me ask you a chilling question.
Yeah.
How many break-ins on Christmas Eve happened under the cover of being Santa?
Surely it's been attempted.
At least one time, a guy dresses up in a Santa suit and just comes into a house.
Surely. There's gotta be one.
Right?
I would be truly disappointed if there wasn't at least one. Santa Claus is terrifying when you think about it. Like, it's this man, this loud man, lands on your...
I was just going to say, the converse of that, of the Santa break-in, is literally like, if Santa was real, how quickly would he be killed?
Immediately.
By an armed homeowner. It's like, absolutely not.
I was talking about the Tim Allen Santa Claus movie. I guess an original draft of that movie. In the movie, he surprises Santa and Santa falls off the roof. Yeah. In the original movie, he shoots Santa Claus by accident, which is pretty funny, gotta say. In America, it'd be shot immediately.
Absolutely, yeah. A communist dressed in red, just distributing gifts willy-nilly. Not respecting property rights, dead. You're dead.
So I gotta say, I'm a little on this story from a 14-year-old.
Yeah.
From a Santa side. Even with my most, like, I was saying we should challenge ourselves, take it at face value, I'm a little skeptical of this one.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think 14 is like the lyingest age?
I think surely there is a lyingest age, and
right,
because 14, you're also the most aware that, like, I'm spinning a yarn here. What happened?
Yeah, and you're kind of trying to like, you want to be cool. I feel like at 14,
right?
That's maybe the peak of, like, you think you want to be real cool.
Which 14 is also maybe like, I still believe in Santa Claus.
Yeah, exactly.
Way past kind of when you're supposed to be doing that, so I'm going to insist I saw him.
Is 14 the worst age?
I think so.
It's in the mix.
You're not quite like a teenager. Like, I didn't feel fully evolved into teenagerdom until like 16.
Yep. You're 2 years away from being 12 years old.
Right. You're just a terrible, more pubescent 14-year-old or 12-year-old.
Yep.
It's you're still 12, but it's been 2 years of being 12.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You're a 14-year-old, 12-year-old.
Do you watch Survivor at all?
Yes.
In this most recent season, and I'm not caught up, I just started the season, which hasn't ended yet, but there's a guy who's so proud of himself. He's 19 years old, but he's telling everyone on the island that he's 22. And it's so funny, just zoomed out now as like a 34-year-old man. 19 and 22 don't seem that different.
No.
That's not much of a lie.
Basically the same. Yeah, exactly. But it's 1 year over 21.
That's true. That's true. So let's go to this next Santa Claus story. This is New York City, 2002, 2004, and 2007. I'm cold reading. I haven't read any of these beforehand.
I love this.
So I don't know if this will be any good. But it was Christmas Eve of 2002 in New York City. My parents had invited some friends and relatives over for dinner, sort of like a Christmas Eve celebration. What do you mean, sort of like a Christmas Eve celebration? Clearly.
I believe it's literally a Christmas Eve celebration. I believe it's literally a celebration on Christmas Eve.
After that, I decided to go to my room and watch some television, but there was nothing good to watch. I then found myself pacing back and forth in the hallway. My house is big, so there was no one with me. Everyone was in the living room watching a movie I wasn't interested in. Big house, New York City, huh?
Yeah,
specifying New York City. I guess Queens, but even then, like, how big is like your house?
Unless they're so rich.
Yeah. All right. And if you were in Queens, you'd say Queens, right? You wouldn't say New York City.
You would definitely... You honestly, I feel like if you lived in New York City, you wouldn't even say New York City. You'd be like, I was in Manhattan.
Right. What's the deal here? We got questions. This
is fishy from the start. Quasi New Year's Eve celebration.
About 7 minutes into my pacing, I saw a tall, fat figure scurry away.
Hang on.
Yes?
How are they timing their pacing? Who paces for 7 minutes?
This is... That is a very strange thing to do.
That's a long sit to have a seat.
I'm a pacer. I gotta say, I
love to pace, but I can't just walk back and forth in a room for 7 minutes. That's a lot. That's a lot of like laps of a room.
It's. I also love just keeping track. Like.
Yeah.
That's just a walk. You've just taken a walk.
You've taken a walk inside of a room.
About 7 minutes into my pacing, I saw a tall, fat figure scurry away about 20 feet from me. It was crouched down, too. It was even wearing some sort of Santa Claus suit. I didn't believe in Santa, but this just freaked me out. There was a strange man in my house. I quickly ran to where my parents were to tell them about it. They grinned at me and said jokingly, maybe it was Santa Claus. I didn't believe that, so I just sat down in my living room with my family and everybody else. It's, there's more to this story, but we don't know how old this person is in 2002, but I feel like if I see a person in my home on Christmas Eve dressed as Santa Claus, I assume my home has been invaded, similarly to above, right?
I'm in danger.
It's like, no, guys, there's someone upstairs.
Yeah. Exactly.
I wouldn't be in my living room just like, well, what a whimsical experience.
Yeah, very odd. I'm going to go pace for 23 minutes, and then we'll finish this movie.
So then it occurred again on Christmas Eve 2004. I remember it more vividly than the last one. I was lying on the couch in the living room. My parents were in the kitchen having a conversation about a business blog or something.
Who is... This is an alien pretending to be a human.
This is Santa Claus. This is an elf trying to throw us off the trail.
Yeah,
that Santa Claus
just
is
some
real.
adults talking about a biz blog. They're adults.
Do.
They're just talking about business blogs.
That's one of my favorite things to do as an adult.
Yeah, do you ever just sit down with Emily and discuss your favorite business blog?
All the time. That's Tuesday, baby.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I saw a huge man, about 7 or 8 feet tall, crawl underneath the tree and just vanish. This is either there's a lot of talk of like scurrying and crouching, which is very spooky. Gotta say,
very strange.
Don't love the idea of a large man like crawling under a tree.
Yeah, I'm getting a very like insectoid kind of vibe.
Yes. Before it disappeared, it looked at me and said, "Shh." Very strange, so I went into the kitchen and sat with my parents. Buddy, you're either very ill or there's some freak in your house. You have a Frogger with a very like whimsical sense of humor.
Yeah, my man's getting frogged hard. He has the worst survival instincts I've ever heard. Your whole family's gonna die, and it's gonna be your fault.
Which, though, Man, I am thinking Santa Claus is a frogging strategy. Keep a Santa outfit in your
if you're frogging
backpack.
once a year, you can just come on out.
There you go.
That's your time to really shine. Imagine being a totally like decrepit, horrifying looking Frogger, and then on Christmas, like you think you're being slick, and you just like emerge from the wall. Merry Christmas, just like chugging old milk. Like, oh no.
The dream.
Yeah, the dream.
So similar happenings occurred the following Christmases. I recall one in 2007. It was daylight this time, and I just happened to see another tall figure with a Santa hat trudge by me for 2 seconds, and then it was gone. This really happened! Exclamation point. This is Claxton Kalmbach, which...
Wait, where did he say he was? Where is he when he sees this person?
I recall daylight this time. He doesn't say.
Is he just on the street?
I guess so, which seems like the most common place to maybe see. You ever go to SantaCon?
With a hat. Yeah, exactly. Have you ever done SantaCon?
I've never done SantaCon. I don't have a problem with it, as people seem to.
I've never done it either, but yeah, it's whatever.
Whatever. They're all getting fucking drunk and obnoxious. Fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting drunk and rowdy on Christmas predates Christ on Christmas.
Oh, yeah. The oldest tradition.
It's also like, I think there's an element of, a certain element of like arm crossing when it seems like people are having a good time. Like this can't be right. I'm annoyed by other people's good time. You
know what it really is? It's because it's the bridge and tunnel crowd.
Sure.
That's true. That's really what it is.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're not being fucking degenerates. But... And don't get me wrong. I'm sure if I owned a bar, I might feel differently. But I don't. So fuck off.
As someone from Long Island, I feel comfortable saying that there is a level of degeneracy here that is... It's unique. It's unique in its strength.
Yes. I think some good old-fashioned rabble-rousing around Christmas time is an important tradition. I think if you are a traditionalist, you have to get a little sloppy on Christmas and puke in a trash can in a subway station.
I feel like we should have more holidays and public festivals that involve just people getting wasted.
Seriously.
Like outside, like in a big group.
Absolutely. What do we have? St. Patrick's Day? That's it.
Yeah, that's literally... I feel like every holiday used to be that.
And they can be again.
They could be again. We're due. We just went through COVID. Come on. Just get drunk in the street.
Okay, so this next story is titled White Santa, 1969. I had an experience when I was 3 years old and still young enough to wear footed pajamas. Anyone can be old enough to wear footed pajamas if you try hard enough.
Absolutely.
The year was maybe 1969 Christmas Eve. I wanted to see what Santa had brought me, so I quietly walked down the hallway and looked around the corner to our living room. I saw my parents and someone I didn't know hanging around our Christmas tree. The stranger was an old guy with a white beard and hair and a red suit. I quickly went back to my room as fast as I could with my footed pajamas and slid into bed. I told my mom what happened many years later, and she was insisting that I was dreaming or that it was my dad. That wasn't possible because my dad was sitting in a chair behind the stranger, and my mom was standing right next to my dad. I'm African American, and during that time, the tenants in our building were all African American. So Santa stood out. Now, so a lot of these stories seem to focus on children, right? Mm-hmm. Which... if there really were a Santa Claus entity, none of these creatures or this characters seem to be leaving presents that the parents didn't buy.
No, but they're just scurrying about.
Right. But it would make sense that mostly children would see it, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fun element of it. That only what is that story, the Polar Express, where it's like when they're the adult, they can't hear the bell anymore.
Yeah. Right. Man, I want to find a good one. I want to find a true humdinger that we're like, that's weird.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't know if we'll be able to, but
I did find a lawyer who claims to be Santa.
Sorry, what?
He works for Comet, Prancer, Rudolph, and Claus LLP. He has a website called santalawyer.com. The landing page of which is, who is Santa Lawyer? I'm gonna drop this in the chat.
Great. He appears to be on a motorcycle with Krampus?
Yeah, he just cruises with he's cruising with Krampus.
And
I like how the second link in the sort of nav, it goes, who is Santa? And then the second link is, what is this?
I also what? To be fair, what is this?
Yeah,
what is this leads to? With Santa on a motorcycle, Krampus is on the back, and also a very cheap Buddy the Elf from the film Elf costume. Correct. With a man who is not Will Ferrell.
It kind of looks like a budget Will Ferrell, though.
It is.
The face?
It's a bad, like, wax figure of Will Ferrell.
I like the little snowflakes that come down. That's fun. Are you getting that on yours?
Sorry, what was that?
Does your website have little snowflakes?
Yep, I'm getting that. That's some Web 1.0.
I know,
trickery.
I like that.
Comet, Prancer, Rudolph, Claus, LLP is a jolly little law firm. There's an asterisk here, obligatory lawyer disclaimer. Comet, Prancer, Rudolph, Claus, LLP, and SantaLawyer.com are projects of Rubric Legal, LLC. Alas, Comet, Prancer, Rudolph, and Claus, LLP is not a real firm and not authorized to practice law. So what is this?
Yeah, the what is this page raises more questions than it answers.
So it's a thing of Rubric Legal LLC, and that leads me to a page that seems to be a legitimate law firm. But that doesn't answer what the fuck this is.
So if you just go to straight up santalawyer.com, it says Santa Lawyer is your lawyer for the holidays. All you want for Christmas, parentheses, or solstice, Hanukkah, Ramadan, Kwanzaa, or any other holiday around this time of year is a lawyer that can help you out when. And then it lists a series of fun Christmas-related crimes that you might commit.
The third link is Santa Lawyer Contest. A contest for what, Eric?
I feel like this guy just made up the contest, declared himself the winner. I don't think there's any other contestants.
Santa Lawyer is changing things up this holiday season. We have decided to throw our support behind Youth Prizes campaign to spread joy this holiday season. Santa Lawyer is all about spreading joy, not information about what the fuck Santa Lawyer is.
No.
In fact, this is the scariest thing of this episode. If you know
all his photos are also vaguely threatening, I feel like.
He's scarier than the Krampus.
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie Creep?
Yes, I love Creep.
Great movie.
Movie.
This guy's giving me Creep vibes.
Big time. Big time. If you can parse santalawyer.com and tell us what the fuck is going on here, tweet it at us at Brian and Eric Pod, because I can't make heads or tails of this.
Truly no idea.
Did you know there's you're just looking at this guy in his Santa outfit. It's a pretty good it's a dirty looking Santa beard, which does look more realistic.
Yeah, I like that.
Did you know in the Santa Claus impersonator, is it an impersonator, Santa Claus actor? I don't know.
What are those guys called? I feel like it's the mall Santa, but like what is that?
I actually think they might just be referred to as Santa Clauses.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But essentially among mall Santas, there's a divide, right?
Okay.
There are Santa Claus, your average just mall Santa, guy who needed a job around the holidays. Sure. And then there were real bearded Santas.
Oh,
and the real bearded Santas live that Christmas life, and this is their thing.
Yeah, they love that Christmas lifestyle, dude. that actually is fucking that's such a good call. There are men who just are the Santa archetype.
Yes. And I think that's maybe my dream.
Oh, dude, it's a great.
I think that's
if you put on like 50 pounds and grow that beard out, you're right in there.
Someday, I think maybe.
God willing.
I was gonna maybe do it this year for a place. It didn't work out, but I was kind of looking forward to it.
You would be a great Santa. You would be a
so.
phenomenal Santa.
Thank you. I think it'd be fun to make a little magic happen.
Exactly. Exactly.
My wife tells a story. Speaking of Santa Clauses who may be real. My wife grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and there was a local Santa Claus actor who my wife's whole family insist this guy could actually be Santa Claus. Like, actually could have been the real goddamn guy. Like, there'd be a line of kids. And dude, don't get me wrong, I guess he just had a talent for whatever this was.
Yeah.
But kids would come up, he'd know their names. And he'd say, like, hey, blah, 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 good to see you.
Was this some like, how would he know he would just know?
I did
like
some
he
reading.
Remembered them?
I think it was a mix of that. B, I think he had some of his assistants would be talking to some of the kids, and he was just very good at picking it up.
Sure.
But the story my wife tells is that one kid, there was some church event, right, where this guy was, and one kid didn't make it in time. So he goes out to the parking lot. He's bringing all of his stuff, and he gets a call that this kid's coming. Someone to call up the church, yada, yada. Oh, no. So worried they might miss Santa Claus. So he's out in the parking lot. This minivan comes screeching in, and they bring this kid out. And he's immediately like, Michael, I was so worried you weren't going to make it. I'm so glad to see you. Like,
oh, my God.
Like, this guy apparently just was fucking Santa Claus.
Santa of the year.
It's I think he's like made the news. Like, he is a actual like famous Virginia Santa Claus. I don't think he's around anymore. He was apparently old as fuck when my wife was a teenager. But
yeah, I feel like Santas aren't known for their longevity.
not the kind of lifestyle that
no. You burn too bright. You can't stick around for too long.
Okay, I'm gonna try to find a.
Do you think anybody's horny for Santa?
It's some Mrs. Claus, obviously, Eric.
Yeah, there we go.
But it's somebody's thing, right?
It's gotta be. I guess definitely.
It's funny how much of our podcast is trying to figure out how much of this is also somebody's thing. They frequently go together.
In any way you can imagine.
Hey, if you're listening to this and you got like a thing for, so you know Rule 34, right? If it exists, there's porn of it.
Yep.
There's certainly a lot of Santa Claus porn, right?
Yeah, I'm Googling it right now. It's ridiculous.
So I guess if you were to Google image search Santa porn, I'm sure a lot of stuff would come up. The question is, how much of it is I drew something weird just to be weird? How much of it is kind of tongue-in-cheek? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of hot Santas, right? It's a hot dude.
It goes both ways. It's like the role play Santa, like I'm in the Santa outfit, but I'm a jacked guy, whatever. And then there's the really leaning into the kind of grotesque aspects of it. Like, I mean, like your thick Santa, your double C thick Santa.
Yeah. So, but like, how much of it is like, this is my thing?
It's a great question. What's so crazy about that whole loop is like, I feel like people do it as a meme or a joke, but then it becomes someone's genuinely horny for Switch Dog.
Right, Switch Dog. Sonic the Hedgehog, I think, is a great example. Like, yeah, someone did this just to be weird, and then it awakened something in somebody else at a very formative time, and now they're not able to like move past it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, be careful out there if you're creating funny meme porn. You don't know who you're gonna fucking just whose brains are gonna scramble.
Our brains are very delicate. We can.
Yeah, absolutely. Imagine. I hope this is true. Imagine there was just a window in time where we kind of like imprinted on whatever made us horny, and if you just saw the wrong thing, you're just into irons for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
Okay, we got one here. Eerie Santa.
I love this.
Should we give this one a go?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to do this one. I'm going to see if I can find another one. And then we have some theories. We have some theories for what these Santa Clauses might be.
Yes.
Okay, so Eerie Santa. I don't have a year here. I was 5 years old and I was in my room when I heard shuffling in the living room. I got up and peered around the doorway when I saw a man in a Santa suit standing in front of the Christmas tree. He must have felt my presence because he turned around and looked at me. He didn't look jolly or kind or happy like you would expect Santa Claus to look. He looked kind of eerie, like he was staring into my soul. Automatically, I ran into my parents' room and hid under the covers. I don't know why I was so scared at the time, but I wrote it off as a dream for a while, and then before I forgot about it completely. Years later, I remembered it. I thought it could have been a burglar, but when I asked my parents, nothing was ever missing from that apartment. The only time we were ever robbed was when we moved later on. The only explanation I have now is that it was some kind of apparition. Spooky Santa.
Spooky Santa. That's an interesting, I guess, aspect of the Santa myth. I guess in the common modern thing, he's not like a spirit. He's a real guy.
Right.
He's a real physical guy with just some magical powers.
Right. But maybe that's not what people are seeing, right?
Maybe that's not the real deal.
So I've got one more here. Let's see if we can get a real one that kind of spooks us. And then, like I said, I have some thoughts here. Okay, Quiet Santa. I was probably around 8 years old when on Christmas Eve, around 12 a.m., I had been lying awake in bed for about 30 minutes. I was extremely excited thinking about the morning and opening presents. Anyway, I start to hear these very faint footsteps approaching. Slowly, a man in boots carrying a sack looked into my room, my parents' room, and then my brother's room. That's not what Santa does. Santa doesn't go into your rooms.
No. He's not supposed to go there.
No.
That's a red flag.
His jurisdiction is where the tree is. I'm absolutely 100% positive that I was awake, too. I could see him fairly well because we had a nightlight on across the hall in our bathroom. I remember hiding my entire face under the covers with a small portion of my eyes to see. He then walked away quietly, and he was gone. Of course, I told my parents and my brother in the morning about my sighting, and of course, they thought I was crazy. To this day, I'm 28 now, I asked my parents if they ever had anything to do with this, and they still deny it and say I was dreaming. I strongly believe I saw a spirit or some kind of entity of Santa. So, partly what could be going on here, if these sightings are real, the thing that I keep seeing as a potential explanation is we've talked about tulpas before on the show.
It's great minds, Brian. Yeah. Great mind. This is a classic tulpa situation.
Could you give a reminder for anyone who hasn't listened to like our Philip experiment episode or any of the follow-ups there, what a tulpa is?
Sure. So a tulpa, the concept of a tulpa, loosely, it's the idea that collective imagination and or collective will can sort of bring an entity into existence. So if enough people are imagining and sort of willing a Santa kind of like entity into existence, it will actually emerge in reality.
Which, if that like practice is real and does work, Santa would be like numero uno.
He's
right?
the perfect one because everybody has the same basic conception of what Santa is. It is a mass version of the Philip experiment. Everybody knows his name, his backstory, his whole deal.
Right. And then you have like generations of children who also don't even think it's fake. Like they think it's real.
Yeah. I thought it was super real. I remember being a kid and fully believing Santa was a real person.
Yeah, no question in my mind.
Yeah.
I remember there was a kid in my elementary school who was kind of mean, and I remember thinking, well, Christmas will come, he's not going to get any presents, and then he'll see the error of his ways.
This kid is fucked. This kid is going to get fucking wrecked on Christmas. This little fucking asshole.
The story we always heard growing up to get us to stay in our fucking rooms was that my Uncle Bob, had one day came downstairs, saw Santa, and Santa took all the presents away.
Wow.
And my Uncle Bob didn't get any presents because he saw Santa.
That's a hilarious, like, dick Santa move.
Yeah,
Can't see me. If you see
Nope.
me, I'm taking the presents.
Sorry. I know I came into your home, but no,
exactly.
that's not how this
I invaded
works.
your house.
We mentioned, I'm sure I've told this on the podcast before at some point through the years. The concept of Santa is so fucking terrifying. I'm surprised this doesn't happen more often. But my cousin was so terrified of Santa Claus, like coming into her house. And so my uncle had to meet Santa Claus in the driveway, get the present.
No, it makes sense. Smart little girl. Did your parents do the thing of, like, taking a bite out of the cookie? Did they do all that stuff?
I think so. Not anything that I remember too distinctly, but I think it happened once, twice, maybe 3 times, you know?
That's great.
So Santa Claus is just going around taking chomps out of cookies, and I guess there's more waiting. Like,
yeah, well, he can't eat the whole cookie. That's ridiculous. He'd be eating like 3 million cookies by the end of the night.
I guess that's fair. I also love the carrot, taking the bite out of the carrot, of course, for the reindeer, which means that Santa Claus is going outside, giving the carrot to the reindeer. The reindeer's taking a chomp out of it, and then Santa's bringing it back inside. Like, what a dick!
Exactly. Yeah, he's tromping the snow in there. Ridiculous.
Come on. So another sinister maybe explanation for what's going on here. Here's the thing: a lot of our stories have been from children, right? Mm-hmm. If you were a demon and you were trying to maybe like worm your way and get into a kid's good graces, what better image than fucking Santa Claus?
Gotta be Santa. Gotta be Santa. It's the perfect cover.
It's perfect. I'm like, and I don't know. Christmas might be a difficult time for a demon to operate, right? It's generally a pretty religious time of year.
Sure, but it is, as we've covered on the show, it's a very spooky season, very supernatural.
It's a very spooky season. Bring back spooky Christmas. Bring back spooky Christmases.
Brian, maybe that's what you're missing for your holiday spirit and cheer. Maybe you just need to spookify your Christmas a little bit.
That's it. Maybe I just need to lean into like just leave all the rather than taking the Halloween stuff down and putting up the Christmas stuff.
You blend
just leave it.
You're blending.
And that's the thing. If I become Santa Claus someday, I lean into just being the spooky Santa.
I want you to show up to Emily's parents' Christmas just like in full goth, like eyeliner. We're doing spooky Christmas this year. Spooky.
Respect how I celebrate. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Finding the spirit again.
Eric, has anything convinced you that Santa Claus might be real?
You know what I am thinking right now, in a very sort of romantic and childish way, but this feeling is welling up in my heart. If Santa could be real or could make an appearance, I feel like this year, this Christmas specifically, that would be just a real slam dunk Christmas. I feel like the world could use a little Santa right now.
Today, this would be so... Just putting out there, I think, into the ether. Santa Claus, if you're real, if you're out there, and not a demon, not a demon
Claus, not a demon Santa. Regular, cool Santa.
Right, the real one with the elves and played by Tim Allen.
Yeah.
This would be a great year. This would be a great year to have an elf-like fly through New York City. Everyone will love it. Everyone will love it.
People would love it. Well, Tim Allen, stop by. That's really what this is, an invite to Tim Allen. I just want to eat mashed potatoes with Tim Allen this December at some point. The classic Christmas food, a bowl of mashed potato.
Just Eric and Tim Allen noshing on mashed potatoes.
One bowl, 2 spoons. We pass it back and forth. We talk about his greatest hits. I asked him about Wilson. Wilson's one of my favorite characters in TV.
Oh, man, this has been Brian and Eric Don't Belong Here. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, we're on Twitter, at Brian and Eric Pod. We come out every Wednesday. And, Eric, anything else?
You can't. If you start playing the theme song, my brain's going to turn off, and I'm going to dance. So, no, I'm dancing to Monsters Rule Okay.
Later, everybody.
Good night.
Got a friend you know you can trust.